I'm in a 2015 Land Rover Discovery 4. This has done 110,000 miles, and as you can see, I've got those errors up there, and it's scrolling between HTC not available, stability control, emergency brake assist, between those three. And the other thing is the light has gone out here on the air suspension. But what I find is if I turn the vehicle off, every time I start the vehicle, the faults have gone, and I've got to drive about 3 to 4 miles before they repeat themselves again. But a little background history on this vehicle. I've only had this vehicle for a matter of weeks, and I've got here a receipt from the previous owner, and it's had a supply and fit steering shaft for 132 quid including VAT, and a steering shaft, and that is 126 including VAT. And while underneath this car I did notice a shiny knuckle at the end of the steering column where it joins the steering box. However, when I got this car, the steering wheel was off centre. That was centre about there. So I've booked it in to have the wheel alignment done, and that was done yesterday. And as you can see, there's lots of red on there, but here they didn't even put an arrow on. That's a cross, that's a cross. So the alignment was so far out, it was outside of the range even to put an arrow on there. So they've sorted that, and that's what it looks like now. And the steering wheel is now central, and it was all okay until I was on the way home from the garage that did this wheel alignment, and I got these errors, and that was yesterday afternoon. So last night I was doing a bit of research, and the point of filming this video is I think I might be able to fix it today using my scanner. So I'm going to film this as I do it, and then if it works I'll upload this on YouTube, and it may well help someone else. So I'm scanning the car here, and then we'll look at the fault codes. So that's now finished, and in typical Land Rover fashion it's now got some new ones, because it didn't have this many last night. This image processing module is a new one, and I think this is a new one. But anyway, under ABS we have a fault, so let's have a look at that. And we've got a permanent steering angle sensor fault there. So that was the first clue. And then ride level control module. We'll see what that fault is. And this is the one I was getting yesterday. U0416-68. Invalid data sent from vehicle dynamics control module. So I was doing a bit of searching last night on the internet on that, and this again I think is the steering angle, and it all makes sense really, because my steering was all off and now it's been centralised. So I think that's what the problem is here. And then the other fault we've got here is this front control display interface module, high level display front. Don't know what that is. Land Rover is all new to me. And then we've got a remote control switch. I think I did have this yesterday. This is something to do with the buttons on this side of the steering wheel, I think. I hope it's not the clock spring, I think you call it, in the back of the steering wheel. Could well be, actually, thinking about it. You know, if they've changed the steering column, maybe they've damaged a wire in there. So that might be something else I might have to look at. The other one, the heating, and the other fault here, the HVAC, has got two faults. That's because of the windscreen sensor, which I don't think this has it fitted, because it's the commercial version, possibly, I'm guessing. But anyway, always got that on this car. And the next is the image processing module. Let's just see what that is. This is something new. lost control with the BCM. Yeah, I get a lot of lost control messages. Anyway, we'll ignore that one for now. So if we look at the ride level control module, and then if I go into live data, and then scroll down here, we've got steering angle. Should be from minus 780 to plus 780 degrees, and it's currently at 0. And yes, it's at 0. But if I turn the steering wheel, and I'm on full lock now, you notice the angle isn't changing. So I'm wondering, do I have a faulty steering wheel angle sensor? But if I scroll further down through all the ECUs, there is a SASM steering angle sensor module, and it's got no faults recorded in it. But if we go to live data in here, let's see what this is going to show us. So we've got some falses here, but somewhere in here we've got the steering angle here, and as you can see it's at minus 345 degrees. So let's just make sure my wheels are pointing straight, which they're not, as you can see on the screen. So that is straight somewhere there, and it's at minus 18.6 degrees. So as I turn the steering wheel, we can see there the angle of the steering wheel is being measured, but dead center, which is somewhere there, yeah, 19.4 degrees. So what I'm hoping here is if I do a steering angle sensor calibration and get that back to 0 when the steering is dead center, I'm hoping that's going to fix these other issues, because I'm assuming because of this adjustment it's now needs another calibration. So to do this on the auto, we've got to go all the way back and then go to hot functions, I think, and then in here we should have SAS there, steering angle sensor calibration. Turn the ignition to position 2. Well, I've got the engine running at the moment, so let's just put the ignition on and say OK. Check the battery voltage. I know the battery is all good on this because I trickle charge it overnight, so press OK. Turn the ignition off. That's now off. Turn the ignition on. Steering wheel angle sensor, steering wheel angle center calibration, clearing in process. Ensure the steering wheel is in a central position. Yep. Right, we've got similar faults come up. The park assist was beeping there. We do have an extra fault, but anyway, it's now said it is complete. OK, turn off the ignition. OK, turn on the ignition. Yeah, there it is, parkade unavailable. But anyway, it's going to do it again by the looks of it. doing the calibration again. It's complete. Turn off. Turn on. I don't know why you need to do that on this, because I've had to do that a lot when I've been playing with the scanner on this car. Now it's reading the fault codes, and then it's going to wipe the fault codes. So yes, we will clear them. So that's clearing the fault codes. And then I guess what I'll do is drive for another 5 miles and see whether it all comes back again. And this is cleared the fault codes. Turn off the ignition again. It's doing a calibration again. I wonder whether it's stuck in some sort of loop. But anyway, I'll let it do its thing. Turn on the ignition. Reading the fault codes again. Does sort of feel like this is stuck in a loop. Right, well, that read it very quickly. Maybe it wasn't stuck in a loop. Turn off. Hang on, might be speak too soon here. Done. So what I'm going to do now is go back into the steering angle sensor module, look at the live data again, and without touching the steering wheel, have we gone from minus 19 degrees to 0? We have. So now if I turn the steering wheel, which is very hard because the powered steering's turned off, we can see, and if I turn it back to dead center, yeah, there we go, 1 degree off. So that has reset the center point. The errors have gone. My air suspension lights are back on. So let's go for a 5 mile drive and see whether that particular problem has been fixed. 90% of the viewers of this channel are not subscribed. I'm sorry to ask, but it would help greatly if you would. Just press the subscribe button. It's free and it shows YouTube you like this sort of vehicle related content. If you want to be notified when new videos are released, please click on the bell button also. Thank you, it really helps more than you would imagine. So I've now driven at least 3 times further than it would take to get this fault up. Actually, I'll have a look back on the footage and compare that mileage with the previous mileage. And so far, all fault free. If I look at the steering wheel anger sensor there, it is 3.3. So let's do a full lock. That's my microphone. On full lock that way, it is 603 degrees. And then a full lock that way, 604.6. And now back to about dead center. And yeah, minus 2.7. So it's now within the range of minus 780 to plus 780. But I'm going to go back into the ABS control unit here, because before this was showing no data on the steering wheel angle. It was always at 0. I suspect, no, look at that. There we go, that's changing. So we've now got data coming into the ABS module as well, which before we didn't. So doing that recalibration has obviously done a little bit more than the recalibration. So at the moment, for today anyway, that's fixed, and this Land Rover is fault free. So if you're still watching the video, thank you very much. I suspect there aren't too many who have persevered this long. But anyway, I'm recording this later on because I realised when I was editing this I'd made a mistake. So second time round I was looking in the ABS sensor at the steering angle and that data was coming in, whereas at the beginning of the video I was looking at the ride height module, not sensor I should say. So now we're back in the ride height, and we'll see whether we've got steering wheel angle. We do. So this data from the steering wheel angle is also now populating the ride height module. So if I turn the steering wheel, we can see we've got the angles there. So that's interesting actually, that doing the calibration has affected more modules than just the steering angle module. So well worth doing. And I'd also add, so far I've done another 9 miles. Again, it felt much longer, but that's proof that the issue has been fixed. So when I got this 4-wheel alignment done, I went to a Land Rover specialist and paid a bit more to have it done on a Hunter 4-wheel alignment machine. And my view there was they're going to be more skilled at working on Land Rovers than your normal tyre garages, and they tend to employ young lads and are pretty unskilled. And this being an older Land Rover is pretty rusty underneath, and all the nuts were rusty, so a Land Rover specialist would be better at doing that sort of job. And as you can see, it was desperately needed. But it does beg the question, why aren't they doing a steering wheel recalibration when the steering wheel was so far off like it was on this one? Because within 5 miles of leaving that centre, I had these faults come out yesterday. But anyway, that's now fixed, doing the steering angle calibration. And I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please do click the thumbs up, that really does help. I'll form a playlist which I'll link in the video description below, where you can see other videos I've done on this Discovery 4. At the moment there won't be too many, but they'll be adding over time. And I'll see you on the next one.